I could just sign in on my Xbox and talk to you while I play. That's the same thing because we're not playing the same.
You know what's gonna happen? You're gonna do that, and every so often I'm gonna be like Trey, because your shit just turns off because you're not touching it.
Oh yeah.
In the beginning, we'll remember, but after a while, you'll forget.
Bueller.
Well, Tyler, we were playing the wrestling game, and Tyler's like, "See this is it. This is the game you got to play on stream."
Dude,
The wrestling game or this one?
dude, I am like I've become the most chill guy when it comes to video games, and still like the wrestling game's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So the
Makes
problem
me
with
so mad.
yeah. So the problem with it is like you'll be playing, and you're doing fine, but you're replaying moments in history.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, you have to do this. And then when you do that, well, in real life, it got like reversed and the guy got like drop kicked with a chair.
Oh, God.
So you're like, oh, I'm totally beating this guy's ass. And now I'm almost dead. Like, wait, what?
Oh, wait. All I remember is that one wrestling clip.
How long are we doing this?
However long you want.
Yeah, well, you can
It's
do
up to
whatever
you,
you want.
buddy.
You want.
Yeah.
You can take them off whenever you're ready.
You can keep-
can take them on right now.
I just feel so powerful with these. And I totally understand that's why Macho Man Randy Savage talk like that.
That's because of all the cocaine he was on.
That and the sunglasses complete the circle.
It's why he wore the sunglasses. Was all the cocaine he was on.
Let me tell you something. I need to give me a second. All right. That he, like,
That's why he was like
cocaine.
he would like walk in.
Yeah.
He's just like super sweaty. Like, why are you so sweaty? Don't ask questions.
I was watching Cops.
I did all the cocaine. Yeah, that's right.
Cops doesn't come on until 4. Or like, did you find out like he was like in real life he actually just talks. He's like, so then I went down and got a cup of tea, and it was a lovely.
Yeah, not only is he not. Not only does he not growl, he's British.
He's English. Yeah. He's from Westchester. Westchester.
It was squeezing my face.
It's Tuesday, ain't it?
It was squeezing my face.
Oh, was it? Man, I'm winning smallest head size here, which is
It's not hard in this
That
house.
is a game I never win.
It's a game. That's a game I don't even play.
Sorry. Earlier, I need to ask a follow-up question to a comment you made earlier tonight. Welcome back, by the way, to Nostalgia Land. Thank you for being with us. We have a couple special guests here. Macho Man Randy Savage glasses. And then also Danny DeVito.
Hey, Danny. Nice to see you.
Which I scared Trey with.
Scared the bejesus out of it.
There's a video, but I won't post it. Anyways. So you made a comment earlier about Grand Theft Auto.
Oh yeah.
You can go like you can do a code. You could have
it was Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. They made a code. We were talking about like video games and like what you can do in video games now.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh well, like yeah, I feel like we've come a long way. It's like yeah, when Grand Theft Auto San Andreas came out, they modded it so you could like there was like a sex mini game with the hooker or whatever.
Yeah.
And the game was like, no, we can't do that. And now in Mass Effect, it's like, what alien you want to bone?
That's really weird.
no, but the part that you said
The one that can't take her mask off?
You said the one that can't take her helmet off.
Oh, it's a helmet.
And
Yeah,
I didn't
right.
think like biker helmet. I was like, you need to define what kind of helmet this girl is wearing.
It's like the woman in the iron mask.
Or is this a safety helmet or is this a safety helmet?
Is this a special
Does
helmet?
does she ride the short bus to school?
Yeah.
Hey, bud, how big was the bus with these that picked you up for school?
Is this a special helmet?
Was it a normal bus? Was it a normal size bus? Oh my god!
In the movie we're covering, there's some decisions that are made by people that made me think, like, how, what?
What?
Are you
really early
talking,
on in this movie?
Are you talking specifically about Mr. Sims? Congratulations, Mr. Sims. You're the fattest boy in camp.
Well, yes, he does seem like he rode that bus, but
He's always bleeding.
yes,
he always
his
has
nose
a
is
nose.
always bleeding.
We're doing heavy weights, by the way.
We're gonna get into it. It's gonna be good.
And the cream rises to the top.
That's a promo,
That's a promo.
that he did.
That's a super famous Macho Man promo.
Oh, I
Yeah.
don't remember that
He
one.
comes out to talk to Mean Gene Okerlund. He's like, oh yeah, Mean Gene. He's like, Macho, what are you doing? He's like, the cream. And he pulls out like a tiny coffee creamer and he's flexing the whole time. And he's like, and the cream rises to the top. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Hogan. He always said his full name.
Yeah. For me, that gets me.
That's right.
There were like many stages of Macho Man, but they all sounded the same.
Yeah.
They were just more calm.
Yeah. I remember the one like he's in the like he has the talus the taluses or whatever the jacket with all the beating stuff down the wings.
We're gonna let you like twist in the wind.
So I'm just gonna be myself for a minute.
The taluses.
What is it? The
Tassels?
tassels. Thank you.
Like movie tassels?
And I think on the jacket they're called streamers.
No, they're called tassels.
Oh,
Tassels.
I think.
Tassels. DeVito approves. Hey. Sorry.
Dude, the way Trey's right. The way they took that picture, that man's hand is massive.
It's
Maybe
because
he has a big hand.
no, it's for Jersey Mike so he can hold this up.
To make it big.
If it ain't fresh, it ain't Jersey Mike's. I'll tell you what, Danny DeVito appears in anything. It's a better movie. It is a better movie. If he showed up in Coneheads, better movie. If he showed up in Heavyweights, better movie. He could have showed up in The Godfather. Just like open the door to the Italian restaurant right before Al Pacino shoots that guy. Remember he goes to the
No,
bathroom?
but the Italian Danny DeVito's Joe Pesci.
Well, like, so he could have showed up, just opened the door and be like, "You all got wine here? Okay, great." And then just left and be like, "Hey, Danny."
Your Danny DeVito is almost as good as my Arnold Schwarzenegger.
So terrible.
So it's borderline.
Thanks, Jack.
It also belongs on the short button.
Danny DeVito.
$40?
$40 for
It's
pizza.
pizza, Dad.
Sorry, I had a 5-hour energy. I had a 5-hour energy
Oh god, I don't know if we
before
got
I
5
got
hours
here
for that.
English
And
motherfucker. Dude, you speak it.
it's hitting me. And
Oh my God, I called it. Kane went out first.
there you go.
Yeah, you did. There you go.
We got some wrestling playing behind Trey, and we got wrestling playing behind me. Anyway, so Heavyweights.
Yes.
Excellent movie.
Wonderful.
So fun. And this was one of the first movies that I watched, and my wife was like, "Hey, this is pretty good."
Really, of all the movies that we've done.
Yes. Of most of the movies.
Was this the first one that she hasn't seen that she thought was good?
Yes, she hasn't
Okay,
seen
because
this
I was
one,
going
and
to
she
say
was like,
we've done good movies.
Yeah, well, yeah, because we've done Home Alone and we did
Turtles movies.
Turtles movies were good and everything. But yeah, so this was the first one. She was like, "Hey, this was really good." She's like, "It was funny and it had good heart." And like, she was like, "I'm concerned they're gonna end this with bad like jokes about fat kids."
Yeah.
And she's like, "No, it doesn't go there. Like they're chubby, they're chubby kids, but like they
It's like when
at the
the
end,
dad comes to see him and he's like, he hasn't lost a
He
pound.
hasn't lost a pound. Jeez Lord. I connected with this movie as a heavy set kid back in the day. I connected.
I
real
love that he
with
calls
this
his
movie.
dad out in the beginning too.
You're fatter than me. Why don't you go to the camp?
You go to that camp.
This is the first movie we've had some alumni in from like other nostalgia, because like half of the Mighty Ducks casts.
Yes.
Yeah, because one of the writers, Steve Brin, wrote on Mighty Ducks.
Oh, he did. Oh, yeah.
So he brought in he was like, these kids are awesome.
Yeah, we need
Bringing the
Sean
same
Weiss.
kids.
Yeah,
Yeah,
need
we
Sean.
got we got
We need
Goldberg,
Keenan.
we got Russ Tyler, we got
The Mink.
Clark,
Yeah.
and you got Henry Rowan Gardner's best friend.
Yeah, he's in there too.
Henry Rowan Gardner. Oh yeah,
From Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. And he is in this
Gosh,
movie.
Henry,
Yeah.
you can play for the Cubs. That kid.
The one he's like, I never picked it up on like that double agent of a child in this movie.
He's the real. Well, first he's an asshole, but
Yes.
we'll get into that, and
Yeah.
then he becomes a good guy.
yeah, well, he does it though to fund his side business.
Yeah, he's smart. I guess.
Yeah,
I,
mean,
guess
like-
he's just a businessman.
Yeah,
That's-
he's just
He's setting
business-minded.
himself up for success.
That's what he's doing. Yeah, I wish I had.
he's robbing from Peter to write a check to Paul.
So Heavyweights, what year was this, man? This was
92?
92? Yes.
And this
no,
is
95.
Steve
I'm
Brin
way
and
off.
Judd Apatow.
Judd
That's
Apatow.
right, baby.
Where was he, though?
That's why it's good.
No, he's
like-
a writer.
He's a writer? Okay, because it also says he has a screen credit as Homer. He's like at
Really?
the bottom of the list on IMDb.
Is that one of the
Homer?
Is that one of the percolators?
I have no idea. Maybe it is.
Maybe it's either that or Camp MVP.
Oh, maybe.
He's like one of the people with camp MVP.
Man, we'll challenge to our listeners.
Homer would be kind of right on the nose for camp MVP.
Yeah, for sure.
Homer.
Or heavyweights if you think. If you go Simpsons with it.
That's where my head went when I heard Homer.
But challenge to our listeners out there. If you can,
go
if you
find Judd Apatow.
Go
Sorry,
find Judd. Yeah,
yeah, totally. That's a great idea. So I'm like, hey, you're saying this idea. I'm gonna say it first. Oh shit.
It's okay. But go find Judd, take a screenshot, and let us know because I looked for him. I couldn't find him.
You looked for him? I didn't even realize he was in it.
I was like, he's in this, and I just kept clicking through. And whenever it got to like a big crowd shot, or like I was just like, okay, is he here? No, he's not here. He's not here.
And his kids were like, just play the movie, Dad.
Yeah.
So in the beginning of this movie, it starts out great. Now it captures the feel of the last day of school pretty well because it starts in the last 10 seconds of the day.
Yeah.
And it rings the bell. The only thing is I never in all my years going, through standard school
Sorry.
did
In
I
America, it's 12 years.
when the bell rang,
Yeah.
did kids walk out and throw every piece of paper they have
Yeah.
in here?
Yeah,
There is a tradition though that I've seen on like Instagram and stuff where there's like a staircase. Have you seen that?
No.
Yeah, I did see that. It's a high school. Yeah.
Yeah, and they like, it's
They
like
do
a
that.
very several story building, and they all throw paper, and the paper falls forever. It just keeps coming. Like, what the hell?
And then someone
Forever.
sets it on fire. There's a problem.
Yeah, that's a big problem.
Well, that's like in 10 Things I Hate About You, where that's how they get the word about the party out. They just go to the top of this giant staircase, and they're like,
Oh yeah, that's
yeah.
genius.
"It's Bogey
is,
Lowenstein."
yeah.
That's what's a Bogey Lowenstein?
What's exactly what I was gonna say? What's a Bogey Lowenstein? If you haven't seen 10 Things I Hate About You, go watch that movie. It's a great movie.
You're just too good to be true.
It's a great movie.
And then I love how they,
Yeah.
Heath. And then Not Another Teen Movie. They spoof that.
Yeah.
And they do it with Janie's got a gun.
Oh my God, she's got a gun.
You guys really think of this spoof that I saw where the guy's talking about Stacy's mom, and he's like, Stacy's mom's a problem.
Yeah.
Like, why is she coming out with just a towel on?
I'm 10.
Yeah, like the guy was definitely
I
underage
think
or whatever.
we need to talk about Stacy's mom.
That's a great song. Though. That's
for sure.
Such a great song. So it's last day of school, and so you get a mildly heavy kid. Like this isn't a kid.
He's pretty chunky.
He's pretty chunky,
Especially for early 90s.
Yes, that's
nowadays.
Nowadays, I'm like that
He's
kid's actually
pretty par for the
healthy.
course.
Yeah.
What grade is he supposed to be in?
That's the thing. That's where my question
Like,
is.
is he in middle school or is he in high school already? Because
I don't know.
If
He
he's-
looks like he's 11. Or
He's,
Right.
he's
maybe
11.
12.
He is 11.
that's
He is?
Oh, he's 11.
in the movie. He is 11.
Oh, then that puts him in 6th grade.
Okay.
Jared
So
Gardner, 11 years old,
Oh,
151
yeah. That's
right.
pounds.
that's right. That's where the 11 came from.
Father Maury Gardner.
Okay, so that
You're right.
leads me to my big problem with this movie, which is not a huge problem, but
It's a short
so
bus.
they give you like from the school to his house, they give you basically a no-word breakdown of how this kid's life is going.
Yeah.
Where he misses his bus, he has to walk home from school.
The dog
Dogs
tries
are trying to kill him for no reason at all. Like he's just walking.
my favorite thing.
He tries to throw a baseball back over, like a foul ball back
so
over the fence, and
painful.
it's the most embarrassing thing I've ever
Yeah,
seen.
you know why it doesn't go over the fence? Because he's right-handed and he's throwing it
I
left-handed.
thought that too. Yeah.
But he can't even like put it over. He
Yeah.
drops. Oh, okay, you
I
gotta
wonder
pick it
if
up
that was
again.
on purpose
Dude,
or
I'm
not.
I'm sure it was.
I mean,
Sure it was.
but the comedic chops on that kid to do something so physical and make it hilarious and sad at the same time.
He's funny in Mighty
he
Ducks
kept
too.
trying to
Yeah,
be.
oh, yeah.
He kept trying to be the wet noodle. He kept trying, like lines that he would deliver. I'm like, dude, you just took me out of this movie. Like,
Yeah. Oh, man.
But not all the time.
Okay.
But it would be like certain lines. I'm like, dude, come on. They should have. But that's direction. Like you should have cut
And-
that and redone it.
And I think some of it was like redubbed because there's spots in this movie where they
possible.
say stuff and I'm like, nope.
well, and
Yeah.
a lot of that is the fact that this is a Disney movie.
Yeah.
And they
And
probably cussed or something.
It was supposed to be like PG-13, and they ended
Oh,
up having
wow.
like the main character. I saw an
Jerry?
interview. Yeah, Jerry. I saw an interview with him like now, and I was like,
He's
wow,
jacked, by the way.
yeah, he does not look the same.
It
at
worked.
All. But
Camp Hope.
this guy, Camp Hope did well. Yeah,
the Perkins, the boys are
Perkisized.
And Lars looks like normal.
Lars.
No,
Yeah.
He doesn't. He's not like super jacked anymore.
I'm Lars.
He's my favorite character.
So we're getting there. So
Yeah.
he gets home, and there's the guy at his house that's advertising this camp, and the video looks.
He's the Gamma leader from the
How
whole
tickled you
movie.
Oh, okay.
The guy who makes Abominations.
Yes. That's right. He is.
Tim Blake Nelson.
Yeah.
Tim Blake Nelson.
He's
yeah.
a weird looking dude.
Not
that
saying,
guy.
I'm not saying I'm unwilling. I just need written consent. That's from Hulk when he turns that guy into Abomination.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
And then the Gamma stuff gets in the crack on his head, and he gets the giant.
I just knew him as Emmett from Oh Brother Where Art Thou.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that
he's
was
also
one
in
of his-
Holes.
Yeah, he is in Holes. Yeah. Sorry, you had mentioned this was.
Never
We're
seen
leading.
Holes.
We're leading to my biggest problem.
Oh,
with this
yeah, go
whole
Oh
ahead.
thing.
yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So they show him the video. The camp looks great, and then he realizes that it's for a fat camp and gets all butthurt.
It's a fat camp.
And he's like, "Hell no, I'm not going to fat camp." And he's like, "I have plans this summer. I was gonna hang out." Like not even prompted. Just I was gonna hang out. But then I love how he calls his dad fat too.
Yeah.
You're
which
fatter
is
than
awesome.
me. Why don't you go to the camp?
But then it just cuts because
Yeah.
they're like, we're gonna have a meeting, and
gonna have a powwow.
basically the dad's saying like, you're gonna go.
You're going.
You don't worry about it
You're
because he's
fat.
going. Yeah. So it cuts, and he's on a plane at 11 by himself.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
it's the unaccompanied minor flyer
And
that's
then-
getting you.
I thought about it more
Well,
as
this
I
is
watched the movie more.
pre-2000.
He's lands in the plane.
Yeah.
Now he's standing on the curb with a bunch of other kids with no adult supervision, and all that happens is a bus pulls up
Yeah.
and drives them off.
There's no counselor there to like
Nobody.
herd them over. They just know where to go.
I
somehow.
flew alone when I was in 6th grade, so about the same time. I
Yeah.
flew alone.
I did that. Yeah.
My parents got me to the gate.
Yep.
The airline was notified that I was there by myself. They made sure I got off the plane and was met by an adult on the other end. These kids just wandering off into the world.
Well, because who's gonna kidnap them? They can't carry them.
All they need is a Snickers bar, and they got them wherever they want them to go.
Like a Snickers bar on like goes fishing line.
Yeah.
Just really
What is,
candy.
what is it from
piece of candy.
Boondock Saints? That you'd have a better luck dragging a beer through South Boston. Thanks for coming out. Trying to catch them.
Like James Woods just put down the Reese's Pieces.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's, what you
That's
do.
one of my favorite gags from Family Guy.
Oh, I got a new favorite one that I just saw somebody posted a clip from Family Guy where he goes, "Yeah, the last plane I was on was gay jacked," and it cuts to the middle, and this very stereotypical gay guy stands up and goes, "This plane's going to Miami," like, and he's holding a gun, and then like a disco ball and techno music comes around, and I was like,
So
"That's
that
how
was
every flight to Miami is."
That's the plane getting gay jacked.
Yes, he goes, it's like, this is a stick up, and this plane's going to Miami.
Could you just imagine, like in the back, you're like on your way to like Minnesota,
Yeah.
and the guy gets up and he's like, "This plane's being gay jacked," and you're like, "Oh, thank God."
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. You're going to Yemen.
But so then it kind of continues. I love the counselor.
Oh, he's
Pat?
so funny,
Yeah,
dude.
Pat's
the best.
awesome.
Yeah, you may recognize him from his work in the Camp Hope promotional video.
And he's funny. He's got the dad jokes rocking and rolling like immediately. I would love to have him as a counselor. He'd be super
yeah.
fun.
He would have been.
Oh, another, before we get too far away from it, another thing that I never did when I got out of school was just rip my textbooks up and throw them in a trash.
Yeah, dude.
Yep. What?
The complete. Why?
If we going back that far, I could totally say like, so he comes out of class,
Yeah.
talks with his friends
Yeah.
the whole time they're walking, and the bus is just like, brown, and it's like, wait, the bell rings, and 30 seconds later
Yeah.
that bus is out.
You better have your ass on that bus.
Well, we don't know how long it took him to walk out
That's
there.
not,
That's all I'm saying.
not-
all I'm saying.
that's not a dismissal bell. That's a fucking starting
Yeah,
gun right
that's right.
there. That's,
That's
run.
his starter's
You gotta
pistol.
Get going.
That was a warning shot.
Yeah.
You know,
Whatever the bell.
you walk to your bus
Like,
Yeah.
like
you do.
Trey found the glory of Melissa McCarthy because I've been watching Mike and Molly.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And she delivers the funniest line in this one episode where she's writing her book in the show, and she's struggling, and Mike comes downstairs and he's like, "What are you doing? You're up so late." And she's like, having a little whiskey, a little nighttime whiskey, like you do." It's a Trey. Every time we'll be talking, and he'll be like, like you do. She does it a few times in the show, but I think that's the first time she says it. It's so funny.
Yeah. So wait, earlier you said
So him getting on the plane at 11 by himself, and getting off to just a bunch of fat kids is just it was like mind boggling.
What about Kenan Thompson's whole thing at the beginning of that?
So funny.
He shows up. He's like, "Hey, you going to fat camp?" He goes, "No."
Probably. Why you say that?
Because you're fat.
Because you're fat.
And is that your dad? No. Why do you say that?
Because he's fat.
Because he's fat too.
And then he's like, "Well, you're fat." And he's like, "I know. That's why I'm going to fat camp."
I go to
I guess I'm going. See, I knew it. And that's your dad too, isn't it? Hell no.
Hell no.
Man. This is Kenan Thompson's best movie.
Carp is his name.
Yeah, Carp.
That's right.
Yeah.
As
The
much as I love-
Carpster. Jesus
Carp.
had to stop
Carp,
the puck.
yeah.
Mr. Carp.
I was like, I know his name in the movie, but it's not coming to me. And it just like all of a sudden clicked in my head.
It was a small character comparatively, like
he's
in
so
the first
funny.
one.
He's like
But
one of my
so
favorite.
funny,
Because he was only in one Mighty Duck movie because they killed him in that movie by slap-shotting him in the forehead.
Oh yeah,
denting his freaking helmet.
corpse. Jesus.
But so
Kenan Thompson's best movie. I'm gonna say actually. Like,
it's that
Russ Tyler.
especially. Yeah, he's got some. But
It's neck put
that
time.
you're fat scene is probably my favorite Kenan's scene.
moment.
Is that why you call him the fat one? Because he went to fat camp?
No, that's because we watched Good Burger and he was the fat one, and the other one was the dumb one.
He was the fat
Yeah,
one.
but we can't say anything bad about that, or Tanner will murder us all.
Yeah,
In the face.
I felt like it just like there's a shiver down my spine. He's moving. Like
The door
he
opens.
says,
Oh, I'm so sorry, Tanner.
Danny DeVito. Danny. Anyways, so you said it was PG-13. It was originally going to be PG-13.
Oh, yeah,
which
for sure.
means every PG-13 is allowed one F-bomb, and that makes me think.
Wait, let's do that at the end.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll
do
get
it
there.
at the end. Okay, just keep that in mind. All right,
it's a good closer.
The
Keep it in
problem
mind.
that I have moving forward from there, and it was like the weirdest part of this whole movie was, they're riding in, they're having a great time on the bus,
Yeah.
With all
joking.
the fast food chains.
Hilarious.
See, like McDonald's, Bojangles,
"Come on,
Arby's,
pull
Burger
over,
King. It's like,
please."
And it's like when you're going to when we go to North Carolina in the summers
Yeah.
and you pull off in these gas station towns,
Yeah.
and that's literally what it is. And they're like hundreds of feet tall. Burger King,
Yes,
Taco Bell, because they're
Taco Bell.
trying to get you to come in there and go to their thing.
Bojangles, Checkers,
Exactly.
McDonald's. Yeah, man.
But they're laughing. He jokes about going in, and he comes, "I can't do that. I've got to go to camp."
I thought that
Whatever.
was pretty funny myself.
And then they're pulling in, and there's Sims, and the music gets like super ominous, and he's shaking his head no, and I'm like, they don't know yet.
He does.
I guess so. He's like freaking Bran from the Game of Thrones. He can see the future.
I'm beginning to think Sims lives there.
You
actually.
know who he is? You know
He's
who Sims is?
groundskeeper Willie's kid.
No, you know who he is? He's Hodor.
He's Hodor.
Absolutely.
Dude, this is a poor kid with the nosebleed.
Except all he can say is, he's coming. He's coming. He's coming.
Is that the only thing he
It's the
says?
only
The whole
thing he
movie?
says.
His
The
whole
entire
line, and he
movie.
delivers it brilliantly. That guy,
coming.
Sims as the kid is
coming.
the funniest one because he's just the way he just stands there.
He's like your Lurch character.
Yeah, but he just the facial expressions this kid does, and it's just so simple. He's just standing there, kind of like just a little dumb, just a little simple. Yeah,
Bleeding from his face.
bleeding from his nose all the time.
Yeah, always nosebleed.
Oh my god, that kid cracks me up. I feel
So
like there's
they-
more story behind.
So
him,
they get
but-
there and he's in the chipmunk cabin
Yeah,
and he gets his nickname right off the bat because they go in.
Time out. I really hope that you keep this on 3 cameras because I just poured Sunny D all over myself.
Oh, I was like, did I get it wrong? I thought I was explaining the plot.
no.
You're killing it.
there's just you're fine.
I'm making a huge mess of myself while you're killing it.
You meet Tim, who used to be fat, but now he's skinny.
Okay,
Yes.
let's get back to problems with Tim.
Get back to
Shaking his ass.
positive.
Yes, for a bunch of 11-year-old
I
boys.
mean,
Like,
I don't know. That's funny though. Like that's
okay, it's funny when he's like, okay, yeah, like, but then he starts like weirdly
Gyrating.
gyrating his
Yeah.
ass,
Yeah,
and
that's-
it's like, okay, you're taking a little far here, Tim.
and
Yeah.
yet up there is the bald eagle.
Oh, right there.
I do like
Just-
that.
That was a
area,
good,
yeah.
it's a good twist. because they get a new nurse.
Yeah.
and
Very
she's
cute.
She's very cute. And she walks up to Pat and she's like, "Hey, do you know where the infirmary is? I'm kind of lost." And Pat's like,
I love that.
He
'cause
does
he's like,
what all fat guys do, where he shits his pants.
"No,
no.
and then you get Keenan like,
Yeah.
bro,
You've-
you've been coming here for
You've
18
been coming here
years.
since you were 10.
10.
You don't know where the infirmary is? I panicked.
Panicked.
are we
And
gonna
he just
do
like
with
puts
you,
his head
Pat?
on his
Yeah.
chest, like, oh, dude.
Help me with this. Hey, Gardner, can you help me with this trunk, will you?
Let's get it going.
So they get to the cabin and you meet
Chipmunk.
Yeah, Chipmunk cabin, and you meet Josh, who's Goldberg.
Hey,
And you
Josh,
get one of-
just saw the new nurse,
Yeah.
and she is very attractive.
And he's like,
And
all
then
right.
you get the line that lives rent free
Yeah.
in most people's heads.
Yes.
This pleases me.
This
Yeah,
pleases me.
pleases me.
He's got like a pocket knife out. He's picking his nails. Like, this is $40 for pizza.
For
God.
sure.
But on
dude.
the plane, the flight attendant had given him wings that
Yeah.
say LA on them.
Yeah.
Dude, that flight attendant was into that 11-year-old boy.
That was
too.
weird. A little
Or
weird.
either
in my
that or she
opinion,
was
yeah.
really into her job. Like, hey,
She's
God,
very
There you
sad.
go.
Hey,
She's
she
like,
was trying to cheer him up. He was kind of pouty, bitchy.
he was Mr. Grumpy Gills for
Yeah.
sure. But
Mr. Grumpy Kid.
so you meet Josh and they're like, this is Gardner. He's new here. And he's like, aye, sir. All present account for Captain, sir.
Yeah.
And he's like,
and everybody else just immediately
and
jumps
they're
right
like-
on board.
And they're
Yeah.
like, what?
What?
And he's like, you're not a captain? He's like, what? Then why do you have your wings?
Yeah.
And then jokingly, he's like, you're not going to call me captain all summer. And the
Yes,
whole
whole
cabin.
cabin. Yes, sir, Captain,
And
sir.
the best part is Pat goes, okay, captain, you got it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Captain Ron.
Yeah.
As soon
Oh,
as
man.
Josh meets him, bam, you're captain now.
Yeah.
Like that's your name
You're
from
kitty.
now on.
You're swab.
Yeah, yeah, babe.
Yeah.
Boss, let's do this, boss. Exactly. I got to start doing that to people, but I'm not good enough with nicknames.
I'm just not.
Hey, shithead. You're shithead.
Yeah, I'd be like, you suck face.
Well, no, it's like we went
damn
on
it.
a charter boat.
Oh my god, you want me to tell it?
You gotta hit the button.
You want me to, okay, I'll tell it. So we go on this charter fishing vessel. Matt was supposed to come, but he overslept.
I'm sorry.
Well,
Yeah.
you were kind of a last minute because we had
We were all last minute.
It was it was Tanner's brother-in-law who's booked this trip, and he had some people back out. So he asked Tanner if he knew anybody, and he called us up, and we decided, sure, let's go.
Yeah.
So we had to be down there super early. We go down, and it's Tommy, Tanner, Trey, and Tyler are fishing on this boat.
Tommy Tanner.
And the mate comes into like the inside of the sport fish where we are, and he's like, "Oh, so what's your guys' names?" And we tell him, and he's like, "That's a lot of T's." We're like, "Yeah," and then
And he's like your stereotypical like whoa.
yeah,
Been in the sun a
totally
lot.
Like Keanu Reeves from
Yeah.
Bill and Ted.
He's
style.
high
Son a
Yeah.
lot.
all the time.
Yeah.
He's had a beer. He's had a beer.
He
and it's
doesn't
like,
smoke.
Yeah.
He's just high.
Yeah,
all the time.
but like he's already had a beer and it's like 7:45.
Yeah.
in the
I would have
morning.
been drinking too, but
Yeah, but not
So were
like
we.
that.
not like that.
Yeah, no, yeah. So we were having some beers, but
like you do.
you do. Yeah. So when you're fishing,
Like you do.
I'm telling you, there's a scene where they're moving from the basement back up to
It's
the
my
bedroom,
favorite.
and she's like, "You're drinking in the morning," and she goes, "We're moving. You drink beer when you move."
Yes.
And she's like chugging this anyway.
She's hilarious, dude.
Very. Oh, dude,
Yes. She's so
hysterical
funny. Yeah.
and so funny on that show.
So you're on a boat. And
Yeah, and I can't even remember what he said his name was, but he said like, "For all I care, you could call me."
No, he's like, my name is this, and we're like, oh, well, if you're not gonna remember our names, we may not remember that. He's like, oh, whatever, as long as you don't call me.
Well, he's like, "You could call me fuckface for all I care." and Tanner just like kind of looks, and Trey and I both are staring at him, and it's just like, "All right, fuckface." And so for the rest of the trip, the whole day,
Call them fuckface.
we called him fuckface.
Tommy, Tanner's brother-in-law, tipped them extra because we called him fuckface.
Dude,
all
and
day.
by the end of this day, this guy loved us, and he goes, "Man, I really hope you guys come back soon. You guys were awesome. You're so funny."
Yeah.
And when we get to the dock, the captain of the boat, his wife and two like little children were on the dock.
Okay.
So we're respectable.
Yeah, we
We're
didn't
not
want him-
going to call him fuckface in front of these little kids.
Right.
So it's like, all right, FF. We'll catch you later, bro. So that's what it became. It was just FF after that. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Dude,
Yeah.
his face would, because it was like out of a movie where he goes, "You can call me fuckface," and Tanner looks, and Trey and I are both just staring at him like, "Yep," and he's like, "Okay, fuckface," and this guy's face was like, "Oh hell yeah, okay,
all right,
like you guys,
I know what kind of boat ride we're in for."
Once we got there, the captain comes back to like see, okay, let's drop more lines, all this stuff, and we call him fuckface, and he looks at the kid like. And he's like, I told him it was okay. And the captain was like, oh, all right.
He's like, I told him to. I told him to.
No, man, that's like if you cancel it, like if you're gonna say something like that in front of Tanner, that's like just giving a loaded gun to somebody.
Yeah,
just like
you
take a
can't do
shot.
that.
Go ahead. You can't do
Dude,
that.
Tanner's wit is so quick
Yeah.
that it's hard to compete with.
I wish our public could know Tanner, but we respect his
One day,
wants
maybe.
his privacy.
We'll see.
Yeah, it's okay.
We shall see.
We shall see. So they're at camp. They get checked in. We meet Josh, played by Sean Weiss, who's gone through an amazing personal journey himself.
Oh, hell yeah.
Now I'm glad he's doing better.
Yeah,
he
it
was
seems like he's doing great, and it's because of fans of like the Mighty Ducks.
Yes.
And
in
It's
this movie
fans of Goldberg.
that saved his life.
yeah.
Fans of Goldberg.
So love that success for him. But so they get all acquainted, and then they go on the blob, and you get the great sequence where it's dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Dun, dun,
Where they're just enjoying camp.
just huge.
And Pat
kids.
blobs Tim.
Dude,
Yeah.
Pat tries to kill himself.
Yeah.
The way he lands on that
The
blob.
way he dives off,
Yes.
it's like, dude, and he doesn't like dive, so it's like coming to. He's diving so like his neck is gonna get. I'm like,
Have you ever been on one of those things?
Yeah.
We had one year at Camp U up
Yeah.
at what's that place called? I went back there with Westminster.
You did. It's like Waskalaska or something.
Camp Kalakwa.
Kalakwa, thank you.
sure.
And
It's right off Oklahoma.
yeah, and we used to have this huge dude in our youth group who actually played like semi-pro professional football. He became an offensive lineman. He's like
That's a big boy.
He's
Makes
like
sense.
6'8",
Yeah.
pushing 4 bills. Like he's
Oh,
a
yeah.
big dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this guy in our band put his 10-year-old son
There
on
you
the
go.
other side of the blob.
Oh,
and the
They're trying to
lifeguard
shoot him to the moon.
and the lifeguard was like, "No, don't." Yeah.
All right.
yeah. What are you gonna do at that point?
This kid went so high.
He went like 40 feet.
But like it was one of those bad ones where like you hit the water and it was like
It was,
and it was like, ah!
Like hitting concrete.
every single person at that swimming hole, which is what it was. They're like, oh yeah, there's no gators here today. And I was like, that's what you think, but it was every single person heard that smack.
And you could tell he was trying to be like a good sport about it, but he was like, okay, it's cool, man.
No, it was painful. And then another kid, which on those blobs, like you're saying, you got to really have a good technique to hit that deflated bag. And yeah, Pat, I feel like this was shot on the last day of production because he probably went to the hospital after the way he lands.
You know who does a great
Because
You
job
no
at it
longer
though?
recognize
Yeah.
me from my work in the camp.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. But there was a kid at the camp too who jumped and he went feet first, and they kept telling him, no, you have to like jump and try to land like kind of on
Break
your
both
back.
your kneecaps.
Yeah, no, he went feet first, straight legged, and I watched it happen. Both ankles just like that. Cry, like screaming, and the lifeguard jumped in to save him, like because she saw it. She's like, "Oh my god, Just,
Holy
for real.
crap.
this is what they trained me for."
we had one at Ridgecrest up in North Carolina the year that I went, and the craziest that they did was they had 2 guys jump on it
Yeah.
together while one little kid was on the front end.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh my, he's like taller. He's higher than the pine trees. I hope he hits the water
yeah.
when he comes down.
I
There's
hope
that
he
moment.
doesn't hit the beach.
Right. Like I hope he doesn't die from hitting concrete somewhere.
There's a moment where you're like, "This is a good idea. This is a good idea. This is a good idea." Oh, problem.
And you can tell,
Problem.
you can tell that the fear of hitting the belly flop because you could see all the people that go in the air like reaching back and trying to twist in
Yeah,
the air to
just
get like
something.
break the water tension.
Yeah.
So
they go to the mess hall, and that's where we got a great cameo from
The Perkins.
the Perkins.
Ben Stiller's parents.
Ben Stiller's
No,
actual
not the Perkins.
parents.
No.
The
Stillers.
The Whitings? No, the
No. I don't remember what their names are.
I'll find it. Hold on.
But they do hiya.
Hi.
Don't worry, you'll get it.
But so Jerry Stiller and his the Bushkins.
The Bushkins.
Anne Mary or Mira.
Yeah.
Anne Mara and Jerry Stiller, actual Ben Stiller's parents.
Right.
Which I thought was awesome. And I never noticed that at the end of the movie, it's Ben Stiller again.
Yeah.
I
Has his own
never
dad.
noticed that.
Now
as
you
a
know
kid.
that part of the deal, like because Ben Stiller was when he was kind of on the fence if he was gonna go and like stay with acting or if he was gonna become a director and like go into
really?
directing.
Okay.
And so part of the deal for him doing the movie was he didn't want to be in any of the promotional material.
Oh, okay.
Which, if you think about this movie, how do you promote this movie?
Without the villain.
Yeah,
He's not even on the poster, I don't think.
right.
He's on the cover of the movie.
People remember him from trailers and stuff like that, but that was later.
Yeah.
After the movie had been released and it was on Disney Channel, which was weird because Disney wasn't really behind this movie. And then it like a couple years later, it like starts showing up on Disney Channel all the
Cult
time.
classic. Let's call it cult classic.
Exactly.
That's like, and that's not Ben Stiller who was in the sandwich. That's
Lars.
Lars.
yeah.
And I'm lost.
Lars.
So bizarre.
So then you get the sad tale that they've had to sell the camp because they filed Chapter 9
bankruptcy. Jerry Stiller, dude, gets me every time. Oh my God.
He's in
Serenity now.
Yeah, he's in King of Queens. He's funny in that show.
Oh, he
No,
is
for sure.
Yeah.
He's funny in
Let's
everything.
order pizza. He's like, okay, where do you want? You want Tony's? No, little local establishment. Domino's. Domino's? He's like, oh, so you've heard of it.
Tomatoes.
Domino's.
So then you get the new owner of the camp who is Psycho Ben Stiller as Tony
Yeah.
Perkins.
Yeah.
Dude, and that's the craziest part about him not wanting to be in the promotional material because he commits to this role insane. He was working out with a trainer 4 hours a day
jacked
Wow.
for months.
Yeah.
He tweezed his eyebrows. He dyed his hair black. He was doing curls in between takes to keep his like biceps pumped
keep
up.
up
He's
and everything.
jacked in this movie.
Yeah, it's crazy the commitment that he did and to not be
like
to not
center
want to be in the
stage.
promotional material.
Yeah.
So his
That is weird.
His big goal of this whole fat camp is to turn it into a late night infomercial
Oh, yeah.
to sell more memberships to the fat camp.
Yeah. Trying to get people Percocet.
And to sell his Percocet DVDs or VHS tapes back then.
the way you had to mail those
So
out.
then you get Kenny the cam. He's like, "Hey, everybody, say hi to Kenny the cameraman." And it's like,
oh, and it's what's his name from Grandma's Boy.
yeah.
Very
So this
early.
is like a blending of like Happy Madison and Judd Apatow.
Well,
people.
originally
Yeah.
they wanted Adam Sandler and Chris Farley to be camp counselors. They approached them almost like immediately out the gate, and they said no, like almost
oh my
immediately.
gosh, really?
Oh, Farley would have been so
Farley
good.
would have
as
been
Pat.
hilarious as Pat. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
Pat's
Pat's
also
great.
good
but
as
it's a
Pat.
different
Pat's
movie.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Different
a different
movie.
movie
right?
if you do that.
It's a lot of physical comedy. He
Yeah.
falls
Yeah.
off the blob for sure.
He breaks his neck.
He gets
does
run
that
over by
thing
a
in-
go kart.
He does that thing in Black Sheep where he goes rolling down that giant hill and
Yes.
just keeps hitting shit and you
Yeah.
think he's done and then he rolls down a second
More,
one.
yeah.
It's like, gee, what
God,
the
that movie.
hell was that?
So So,
love
but
that.
then, so it's basically like this camp has turned into like a nightmare because like it's like it used to be good food and all this stuff, but we missed a part where
Yeah.
in the cabin he goes up to Josh and he's like, "I snuck in some Oreos
Yeah.
for emergencies."
I snuck in a sleeve of Oreos.
And so Josh goes, "That's funny. Chipmunks, download!" And they all just start pouring food out
Loved that.
everywhere.
Seriously.
Or like there's one English kid and he lifts
Peter.
up his shirt and it's all melted gum, like candy
With
wrappers
chocolate.
and
Let's
stuff.
watch in the movie,
And
and,
they start-
my wife goes, "I don't remember there being a British kid."
But they start, so he lifts up his shirt and he goes, "Oh, I guess it was
Crikey.
really hot in that
Next
bus."
to hot in that bus.
Yes, and then they go, "Hey, come get one
Dude,
kid."
the kid standing next to him.
Yes, 2 fingers, rubs his belly, licks it, and goes, "This is not sanitary." And it's like, "Oh, but it's good." And then everyone, they like a
Come
test.
grab a
gross.
taste of England,
Come get a
guys.
clean taste of England, boys. And they're
Gross.
like, oh, it's pretty good. I was like, oh, this is horrible.
So they're putting the candy like in the bedposts, and they have like a cutout in
The
the
one kid is
floor.
like, "Hey, new guy, hey, Captain,
Come get these
salamis off my back.
Salamis off
They
my
really hurt. They really hurt."
And he has like nunchuck sized salami stick
Yes.
to his back.
So
And
good.
they have like
man.
the bed frames are hollowed out.
Yeah.
There's a huge hole in the floor with
They
a big
have,
box that's over it.
They have like briefcases.
Well, it's funny that part because I forget the one kid goes, "Hey, look," and like opens his jacket and he's got all this awesome candy, and then the kid is like, "Oh, that's nothing," and opens this like plastic briefcase, and
Yeah.
all I can think is all the candy in that briefcase looks horrible.
It's all
Everything
like-
the other kid has looks awesome.
It was all like licorice and jelly beans. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
like,
sick,
dude,
dude.
you
It's
suck.
all the awful knockoff Halloween
Yeah.
candy, like the
You don't even
non-name
have a
brand.
Skittle in there.
Ah,
Not
dude,
even
it
a
was
single.
candy corn. And,
How many Werther's originals do you have in that bitch?
unless
is
you're
my
dunking
grandma
those in
here?
alcohol, get the hell out of here.
What are we talking? That was
So-
yeah.
jeez, man. So so they go to the
And then you meet the new counselors, and then you get Lars comes in, and
Yes.
he's like,
Yeah, it
he's
tells
like,
Pat that he's done.
I think you've been reassigned to the big house.
Yeah.
I don't think Tony would care if we switch back. That'd make me very uncomfortable.
yes. It's like we want to learn everybody's names, and then so he's like, Josh,
We
like, we
already-
already know everybody's name.
Yeah.
So he goes through the whole list, and he just like, that's this is Kyle, that's mine, and then he goes, and I'm Lars.
Where are you from? Far
Oh,
away.
wait.
Far away? Like what? What?
I was wondering, I was like, what is the purpose of bringing in a German guy into this? And I was
'cause
like, was it to
dictator.
Scandinavian?
kind
Yeah.
of be like,
Dictator.
kind of be a little Nazi-ish,
Yeah.
like a little like this is
Well,
like
and then
the
he's
great
the one
escape.
he's the one that stabs the blob, and he's like,
Yes.
die
Yeah.
with the spear.
Yes,
So
like
weird.
his passion of killing the blob.
Yeah. And so then you meet him, and he's like, go to sleep. And then you hear it in the next morning. You get like the do 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 do.
Wake up, children.
No,
Yes.
and
day is valued.
Keenan's like, oh no, I'm dead. I'm dead. Josh's character, Captain's character's like, what's going on?
Well, like Lars, but he mentions before the kids go to sleep, he has a moment where he's like, now I'm going to go to bed, but I make a very disturbing sound. I have a very heavily deviated septum. And so I make a horrible
I make a very alarming sound.
Yes.
Don't be alarmed.
Dude,
I am
that sound
fine.
is the sound is horrific. It's like all squealy and snoring.
Yes, it's terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah, next morning, and that's when we start percusizing.
Yeah.
Because Tony.
The
Yeah.
key word today is value.
Yes.
Do you have any?
Any?
Not yet.
Oh my god! Some of the lines in this movie where they were basically trying to shame them for
Yeah.
being fat.
At
for
the end of
being
the summer,
overweight.
you're all going to be skinny winners.
Oh, yeah.
You hear that, guys? Skinny wieners.
wieners?
They're gonna be skinny wieners. Awesome.
Yeah, apparently they kept getting notes from Disney that they couldn't, like, you can't do that, you can't do that. And there was a whole lot of dick jokes that got cut out of this movie.
I know Sean Weiss had a couple which they changed. He had a couple where it's like that. Oh man, what is it? It's
Seymour Butts.
Seymour. Yeah, Seymour Butts. Yeah, and it was like Seymour Butts.
I don't think that's who they were. Like, I don't think that was the actual name though, because that's one of those things.
That's
that
what
I
he's saying.
caught.
Like, they
Yeah.
changed
Yeah.
They
it.
changed it. They definitely had to change it. I think it was like something about basically
like Anita Dick or something.
Yeah, yeah. Neat. Oh man, so they do a great
lot of
montage.
vagina.
A lot.
So they do the weigh-in day,
Yeah.
and he's like Gabriel Gardner, and like he's not even that fat. He's like 160 something pounds. I'm like, you wouldn't look like that. Like you're definitely more than that.
They probably changed it to maybe not like hurt the kids' feelings. Because
Right.
you imagine like being like, okay, we need you for a movie, and like you're a young actor, you're just trying to like, you know,
That's
I
called
guess-
typecasting.
Yeah, and then you get the call and you're like, what's the movie about? Oh, it's about a bunch of fat kids, and you're just kind of saying like, oh,
Yeah.
all right. Like to be cool enough, like and confident enough in yourself, like as at that age in Hollywood, to be like, yeah, okay,
To be
fine.
Keenan.
I'll be Keenan.
Goldberg.
Yeah, I'm a fat kid.
Yeah, I'm the
Goldberg.
fat kid. That's what I am. Yeah. But
So-
then who do they put up
Mr. Sims. And so they get first they get him up there, and he's like, very fat, I see. Like to Keenan's character. Weight loss goal 17 pounds. And so
when Sims get up there, congratulations, you're the fattest boy in camp.
And they all start cheering for him, and he's like, get down. And so then it starts to freak out.
Yeah. And they're doing like gliding.
Glide.
Stride. Glide.
I just want to play on one of those things.
I wanted to try it. I was like,
I used them when I had to do my ACL rehab. When you start going side to side, it takes a little bit to get the hang of it.
I bet it does.
Yeah.
It looks like I would kill myself.
That doesn't look easy. No, that looked like, let me try this, and then what?
And so, where they're doing it is on a stage, and then where the kids are doing it is on a hill.
Yeah, in the grass. It's not stable at all. Sarah made that point too. She's like, how are they supposed to do that on an incline? This is so dumb.
And then you find out about the Apache relay.
Yeah.
You get camp MVP, and they got to play him in a softball game. And I love how Counselor Tim is there, and he's just like, yeah, whatever, just do your best. Like, we know we're going to get creamed. Who gives a crap? Like, whatever.
My favorite is when he throws the bat, Clark, Jerry Cap'n. He throws the bat, and he's like, okay, try to hold on to it this time. Swing harder. Keep it in the pocket. Eye on the ball. I have no idea what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Keeps going. They just start asking, because they're losing, and they all just want to go to the nurse.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, if you wait till someone comes back.
Yes, all of them are on the bench, and they're like, all right, well, you got to wait till someone else comes back.
The best is like you go to the nurse, and they're all like legitimately like cut up and bleeding and stuff.
Yes.
And she's like, Cody, what the heck is going on out there? We're percusizing.
Which... Man, that little kid, I think I've seen that kid somewhere else. I need to look him up because I think I saw like when he was chubby. I think I've seen him somewhere in other movie because he's hilarious. Because that's one of the kids. That kid, and then there's a kid with the bowl cut who, as he's walking out of the nurse's station, the foul ball comes over and he hits him right in the head. And I used to rewind that part over and over again because that kid plays it off so well. Ball hits and he goes, "Ow!"
You know what it reminds me of is the spot in Waterboy where they hit the professor, Colonel Sanders, and he's like,
you're wrong, Colonel Sanders.
You're wrong, Colonel Sanders.
And so then, like, they figure, like, you see the scene where Ben Stiller goes into their cabin and basically is like, I know you because I was you.
Dude, at the beginning, we forgot to talk about when he's, like, introducing himself.
At age 8.
Well, he's like, I was an only child, completely taught by private tutors. Like, what?
Yeah.
So weird.
Like,
really
I'm looking
My
forward
dad
to
is
interacting with children for the first time.
My dad is the lighting fixture king of the Midwest.
For those of you from Western Pennsylvania, you may know my father, Tony Perkins Sr., the lighting fixture.
So weird, man.
And he's like, all the lights here at camp were provided by him.
Chandelier.
And yeah, like the weird chandelier lowers from the
that's right.
Yes. Weird. So weird. That's very funny though.
Oh, it's so good. But he's like, he was like when he was 12
At age
years
8,
old.
I was 349 pounds.
Jesus.
I had no self-esteem, no self-respect. Like the self-deprecation.
Yeah.
And he's like, now I eat success for breakfast as he looks at it.
Dead down the pipe of the camera.
Right, yeah. But he's trying to sell, so his whole thing is he's trying to sell this as like infomercial, like weight loss for kids, something. And so it's,
he goes into their cabin.
Fitting that we would do this episode and we have to pause and say R.I.P. Richard Simmons.
Richard Simmons.
Oh, yeah.
The original percusizer.
That's right.
Yeah.
For the gays in the
But he was way more positive.
way more about being just happy.
all positive.
Just way more about being a good dude.
I'm totally down for Pauly Shore to play him in a
That'd be nice.
bio movie.
That'd be
I'm like a biopic.
Or Danny DeVito.
Or Danny. Danny would be great.
I don't think he could move like he needs to.
But Pauly could.
Yeah.
So then you get him going in and he's like, I know you because I was you. And he's like knocking on the bed frame and he's like, and he pulls out a laser pointer that
Yeah,
does
what the hell
nothing.
was that? Yes. He shines it
Like
as
it's
if
an
he's-
X-ray.
Yeah, like as if he's like releasing pressure or something
So
from
he
this. So he
pulls
can
up.
pull.
So he pulls up the thing and you see all the candy.
Yeah.
And then he's like, come here, I'm your friend. come on. And he hugs Keenan and pulls like the cupcakes out of his pocket.
Oh, we missed that. We missed that actually because they're like, I look into this crowd and I see future business leaders. I see the president of the United States.
A famous rap artist.
A famous rap artist. And it cuts like, to Keenan, the only black kid.
And then he's like, the president of the United States. And it cuts to Peter and
he's like, what?
And Jerry's
Jerry. Yeah.
He's from England.
Yeah, he's English.
But he did that twice where like he picks on Keenan, the only black kid. And he's like a famous rap artist. And then Keenan goes over and he frisks Keenan. Like, where's the cupcake? And he finds his stash, dude.
And so then that's when you get Henry's friend who's like, hey, there's Ben Stiller. Henry's friend from Rookie of the Year is like, sir, I was a chipmunk last year.
Yes.
And he moves and they're like,
what a dick.
Yeah, really.
No, well, it's an Enterprise.
Yeah, I guess still, what a dick.
And the best is when he's like, oh, who wants to own up to this treasure trove? Look, a deli meat.
Then that's when they did the Seymour Butts joke like we were talking about. That was
like the
obviously
candy belongs
cut from
to
something else.
Seymour Butts. And he's
Seymour
like, who's Seymour Butts? And then he's like, nobody's Seymour Butts than you, Uncle
Tony.
Then we're back at the next strangest part of the whole movie where he does this weird like fade
like
white,
like an in memorandum.
Yeah,
like
he's
dead.
Did they kill him?
They killed Josh.
I think that's the implication.
And then he wakes up. They wake up the next day, and his
Josh
bed
is
like all like
Mr.
folded, and his crap's all gone.
Mr. Birnbaugh is no longer with us. His bed is now available.
His bunk is now available. Yeah, that's right.
And then they're all talking about like how they heard a rumor that
Which that's like every middle school and high school rumor you've ever heard.
his parents hate him, and they disowned him because he got kicked out of camp.
Him at the bus stop, all alone at midnight.
And now he lives with a guy or something like that. Like he lives with a homeless guy or something. Like under a
he
bridge.
lives with Christopher Lloyd's character from Dennis the
The
Menace.
most outrageous one is the lunch guy.
Yeah, he's like, I heard Josh is dead.
Sorry to hear about your friend Josh. Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they're just
so weird.
He's dead. Like it's just so like, why are you telling the children this?
God, it's weird.
You get this great montage where he's explaining how camp is now hell.
Yeah,
like it's horrible.
He's writing a letter to his grandma.
And then you find they go on like on a hike in the woods. I'm trying to remember when they discover the kid.
No, that's a little later. Well, first Josh comes back.
Okay, Josh comes back.
Yeah, and so
he does this great.
He walks into their bunk like while they're all sleeping, and he's like. And they're like, Josh is back. And they all get up and he's like, Josh was bad. Josh, now good.
Yes. And
must be glad to see my big ass again.
He's pretending to have been lobotomized.
Yes. I liked him better with the lobotomy. That's it. So he found out that his dad's a lawyer, basically
and he threatened
to sue.
He sent him home without a refund.
Yeah.
He's like, my dad threatened to sue. He claimed like the Buffalo Bills of the Super Bowl.
Yeah. In only way that Sean Weiss can do in that attitude, which was so funny, dude. Like
they're all talking to him like he's like he's an escaped convict. Like they're in, like he's back in prison. They're like, what was it like on the outside?
Yes. Let me tell you, I went to the Sizzler, then I went to a Chinese buffet, shut that place down.
Yeah, what was the food like?
Yeah.
Then I went to the Sizzler. Which
while
I haven't seen a
while
freaking
he's shaving,
Sizzler.
which he obviously does not need to shave.
It's one of those like Spider-Man. You remember those? Like it was like the Batman shave kit, and it was just like a dull batarang. You shaved your face with
it was not a razor. It was just a piece of plastic you rubbed on your face.
You guys let him shave. We take the blade out.
Oh, good.
We shave him at night, and as he's there, do you see Multiplicity?
Yes.
Where he's there shaving his tongue.
Oh, that's it.
It's just when you make a copy out of a copy, and it's not as good as the original.
You guys let
Michael
him shave.
Keaton.
We take the blade out.
That is a great
Shave him at night.
throwback. That's another one that we probably need to do at some point. But so they start hunting around, and there's my biggest problem. You were talking about the 11-year-old on a plane. I want to talk about the bathroom stalls at this camp and what the hell is the deal with
outside.
the doors? No, it's not just that. The doors, you can from the scene, they only go like maybe a third of the way up. That's it. You can see the toilet. You can see someone shitting, basically, is what you're saying. Like, you can just see everything. And it's this half door. And there's a kid in there eating a cheeseburger because
it's crazy
Captain
that they can
hears it. Yes. He's sitting there and goes, hold on.
Wrapper.
And
Food wrapper.
yes. And they
From
all
like a mile
hear it.
away.
Yeah. And they all hear it. They come and they find, I think his name's Sean. He's
The one with the
he's
spiky
ginger,
red hair.
He's the ginger, and he's eating a cheeseburger. So like, where'd you get it? And they're like, well, and he was like, fine, I'll tell.
Yep.
And then you find out that the kid who ratted them out
Has a hollowed out stump.
has a hollowed stump and is like smuggling food in
Yeah.
for everybody.
You leave money in the stump, and he leaves food there in replacement.
Yes. And
What
then
a
we
piece
then
of garbage.
which I was like, okay, that's brilliant that guy, like, he took away the camper who exposed their stash, took away their stash, so now they have to use him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this kid is
a business
really
decision.
smart.
And then it goes through yet another montage of them all eating all their different food and getting
Yeah.
their different food out of the stump. And right after that, you get the next weigh-in,
Yeah.
which is just the most ridiculous scene, where he's being recorded for the infomercial. So he's all Ben Stiller's character is all
Yeah.
up, Tony's all up at Perky, and come on down, let's get you a high five, like whatever. And then he's like, it says you gained a pound. Okay,
All right.
no worries. Step back. You know, muscle weighs more than fat. Muscle weighs more than fat.
We just need to decrease his food intake and increase his
his
metabolic output.
All right, we got this. All right, and then like, come on up. Next guy goes up. Says you've gained 3 pounds
Or yes.
or whatever.
9 pounds or something.
And then
Have you been cheating?
he's like, all right, cut. Have you been cheating? What? And he's all starting to get pissed off. He's like, okay, roll that camera again. All right, here we go.
System does not work.
Then
Cheaters like Gerald Garner.
No, but then Josh gets up, doesn't
Oh,
it?
that's
And that's
what
the
he's
best one. Were
getting
you
to.
getting to that one?
Yeah.
Where Josh gets up?
Yeah. Then go ahead.
Sorry, well, no. So Josh gets up on the thing and he goes, "Come on down, Josh." He steps on and he goes, "Get off the scale."
Yeah, exactly. So funny. His delivery of that line is so good. Where he's like, "All right, come on up, let's step on up and get off the scale."
He's
So
like,
quick.
Cut the camera.
Yeah. And then he goes into the great, like, okay, you get a nice little turn where at first you just thought he was really strict. And
Yeah.
he was really passionate about this. Now you realize he's off kilter.
Yeah,
Like he's,
something's really wrong.
Yes, because he starts
Elevator
like, it's
don't
like,
go all the way to the top there.
yeah, the light bulb's not screwed in correctly there.
How you feeling, little Tony?
Bad. Why? It's not me. It's not. It's their fault. It's their fault. And he goes
And all the
off
kids
in
are in the
rage.
background, like, what? The
What the?
Sims is bleeding again for some
Yeah,
reason.
so reason because that's what he does.
Yeah,
Bleeds from the nose.
that poor kid. Like,
And then he decides he's going to take them as punishment.
Anybody who has not met their food law or their weight goal will join me on a 20-mile hike.
yes,
A 20-mile hike.
And no food. This is a cleansing hike. Just Father Sky, Mother Earth, and your dear old Uncle Tony.
So ridiculous.
That'd be a great shirt. Father Sky, Mother, dear Uncle Tony.
And it should be our Tony.
Yes.
There you go. That's the next shirt.
Yeah,
There
that's
you go.
Tony right there, man. That's the one. Because Tony he's kind of our fitness guy.
He's
Kind of.
definitely the most fit person that's
I was
ever been
gonna
on this
say,
show.
kind of.
Oh yeah, no. Well, I mean, like,
Including
if
a lot
you
of the
ask him-
actors.
yes. But if you ask him, like, hey, how can I lose weight? What can I do? And he's all about it. He's like, well,
Oh, he'll help you out,
tell me
100%.
about what do you eat? What's your metabolism?
Oh, we got to cut that out. We got
He's
to
like,
cut
we
that out.
can't do that. You know?
Dude, the skinniest I've been since high school was because Tony would text me every day and be like, "What'd you do today? Did you
Yeah.
eat? What'd you eat? Did you work out? Here's a workout." I'm like,
Boom.
dude, you are like the best friend ever.
You're like
Yeah.
Richard Simmons.
It's incredible.
Best guy.
It's the
for that,
best.
man.
Like,
He could play
such a
Richard
good friend.
He's Tony Perkins done right.
Yeah, yeah. If Tony Perkins wasn't turning around and
he's
talking to little Tony,
He's Papa Perkins.
but yeah.
So they go on that hike, and that's where he falls in a bear pit.
well,
no.
Oh, whoa,
so they
whoa,
go
sorry,
on the hike,
sorry.
and as they're walking, they pass that pit and they notice it. But
Yeah.
Peter
at the
almost
same
falls in it.
time,
Thank you,
you've
Jerry.
You've got the counselors like Pat and Tim and the nurse who I can't remember her name are realizing like we got to do something. Like this guy's crazy. We got to figure out how to like get this camp away from this guy.
He's gonna kill one of these kids.
Yeah, and as they're talking about this and trying to figure it out, and they've talked to lawyers, and the lawyer says that they don't have anything, concrete enough. They don't have any hard enough evidence. The cameraman goes walking by and is like, "Have you seen Tony? A jerk owes me $600."
Yeah.
Dick.
Light bulb.
Like, well, and they're like, "Oh, okay." So,
Julie is her
Julie,
name.
yeah.
Nurse Julie.
So as they're trying to figure out how to do all this, they're on this hike still. They get to the top, and
Great joke.
the most ridiculous scene of the whole movie where he's like, they're kind of arguing with him about stuff, and he runs out and jumps and grabs the log, and he's swinging out over the edge of this cliff.
Everyone having fun.
What the? Yeah, because he's like, we just want to have fun. Oh, you want to have fun?
Cody wants to have fun.
Oh my gosh, it's terrifying.
Come join me, Sam. I am on my way.
On my way. That one. That kid. Yeah. On my way.
That's the salami kid.
Yes, that is.
So they then he wants to do meditation, quiet meditation, and the kids basically get together and decide to come up with this plan on how they're going to take over the camp for themselves. Like, nobody seems to be coming to help us. We'll help ourselves. And they set up the whole invisible sit-up.
Is it possible to do a sit-up if you can't see or hear?
Which doesn't make any sense because they don't do anything about his hearing at all.
There's a lot of myths about the abdominal muscles.
I'd like to dispel one today.
Happy to put this one to bed.
That's right.
So as he's doing his sit-up, they cover his eyes.
They lay him down, put the blindfold on him, and Goldberg... Josh steps over top of him and pulls his little pants down.
Dude.
Kiss my butt.
Yeah.
You're going, that's full tank.
And then he goes, oh my.
Yeah.
Oh. And he double karate chops him in the back of the knee.
He hits him and then he hits him again. Like, it's the weirdest.
Yeah.
So that gets him to chase him. And Josh is like, hamstring.
You made the one mistake that all amateurs make. Failure to stretch before physical activity.
And right then he falls into the freaking pit that they'd covered back up.
Which I was like, I couldn't remember if that's where they left him, because I was like, man, that's not a very big pit. Like, that's, I mean, he could probably stand up and just like
get out
really
like a normal person.
Especially a guy in good shape as he is.
Yeah. But he falls in it and he like, I guess is sort of knocked out because
they're like, injured or something.
Injured enough.
Twists his ankle or something.
Yeah, because they get him back. They're these heavyweight kids managed to get him down the mountain.
They tie him up and get him back.
They tie him up and they put him in a shed.
Well, the best part is how they go and you don't know what they do with them.
Yeah.
And then they go. Jerry goes and finds Pat and the rest of the counselors.
Like, Jerry, are you guys okay?
Yeah. Well, we're doing great. You know, he lost his mind. Like, he was doing some crazy stuff up there, but we're all right. And she says, okay, well, we're still working on a way to get the camp back and, to get rid of Tony.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, we came up with a plan of our own. They're like, what are you talking about? You better come with me.
Just try to keep an open mind.
So they walk over
She
and
goes, that's so cute. He goes, yeah, whatever.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly how he says it too. He's like, yeah, whatever, shut up.
Come.
So they go and they're all surrounding this freaking shed building,
and they all have like makeshift armor
like
on,
spears,
and, like wooden spears.
Like it's right out of Lord of the Flies.
Yes, it's Lord of the Flies.
And he just kind of taps and like Josh moves. Then he walks up and the two guys are like, and he's like, Yankee Doodles, the password, and they move. And they open the door, and you just hear Pat like, "Oh my god!" And they have this like whole cage set up and everything. Like, what's the?
He's
20 minutes.
He's bound and gagged in a chair, sitting in this cage, and they're like, "What are you doing? You can't kidnap the owner of a camp." They're like, "He snapped,
dude." Tim says they give people the chair for this kind of thing. No, they don't. They really don't.
No.
But
calm down, Tim.
Yeah, so Pat and them, they're like, we can't do this. We gotta let him go. This is ridiculous. And he goes in and he's saying like, oh, don't worry, I'm here to help you. We'll get you out of here. And then he takes the tape off his mouth, and for some reason, Perkins is total dickhead to Pat and says he's gonna kick him in the nuts so hard he won't be able to have children.
I'm gonna deliver one well-placed kick to your groin and stop you from having sex. And he puts the tape
He's in the middle of the sentence and he just puts the tape back on. He's like, are these ropes tight enough?
We can get more.
Yeah, we can get more. Like, dude, of course. This guy's a psychopath.
But then they tie up the rest of the counselors, including Lars.
To trees.
Two trees outside.
Because, you cut the head off the snake. It's like Hydra.
Yeah.
Except no, it's not.
Yeah, it's not. They were definitely not. Yeah. But they do this great thing where they pour honey on him.
Yeah, they're like bears.
Yeah. This is one of the best jokes in the movie.
Yeah, and they start. So they go. He's like, no, man. Like, you really think there's bears in this woods? They leave him out there with honey on his chest. And they're like, yeah, good luck with the bears. And as they're walking away, they screams. Lars does this bloody murder, like curdling scream, and they run back.
No bears, huh?
Yeah, no bears, huh? Yeah, they run back, and he's getting licked up by a deer. on his chest. He's like, I'm friendly. I love but I'm a vegetarian.
But then when they come back, he's like, help me. Don't you have any decency?
Help me. But I love it because then they do this great
You get
freaking
the coolest
montage.
scene in the whole movie.
Yes, where they are ordering every kind of food, and they are just bonfire like Lord of the Flies, but with junk food.
Well,
Their
they go
face is painted with
hilarious.
cherries
icing
and icing.
stuff like
Yes.
that. And the guy that is like making them pay for their food and picking it up out of the stump is part of this group.
Yes, he's switched back.
Yeah,
now
he's
yeah.
one of the fat
He
kids.
got this.
Yes.
He's like their drug dealer. You got
Yeah.
your drug dealer.
He's playing the field. Dude.
Then he goes out. They go out into the woods and see Laura's, and he says, "We realize that under your green card status, you have to have a job in order to stay in the country.
Yeah.
So, are you with us,
Lars, buddy.
or against us?" And he's like, "I'm with you. I love you." And boom, Lars is on board. Lars is in.
And they just go. I mean, it looks so
And
fun.
it cuts back to the da da da.
Yes,
da, da.
I mean, kids like what's it?
Whipped
Almost
cream.
doing whippets. What is it?
They got a
With the
kid.
whipped
They got a
cream.
kid who's covered in chocolate syrup to the point where he like breathes out, and it's just
Yes. Oh, it's
And
just
then they have this
food
like a second later,
bonanza.
the kid like pies himself in the face, and then Josh starts pouring chocolate syrup in his mouth. So
Yeah.
his whole face is like white from the pie, and then right around his mouth, it's just dark from the Hershey's chocolate.
Josh is eating maraschino cherries
Just
out of the.
pouring them in
Yes,
his mouth.
that was
and
my
then
favorite one, yeah.
spraying the only thing that stinks about that scene is none of the cans of whipped cream are like really spraying the whipped cream. They're all like too hot or too cold or something because they're not it's like, oh man, I wish that it was like really coming out of there
Like
like
one
it
of those
could.
like one of those like Starbucks ones where you can spray something with foam
Exactly.
from like a mile
Oh
away.
yeah,
Exactly.
like 10-footer. You just
been
keep,
awesome
keep going
if they
back,
had
keep
that.
going back. No, but they, I love Pat. Pat
Like,
sitting up
time to-
with Julie.
Oh yeah.
You got Camp MVP too.
Yeah.
Looking at them like
they're
I
supposed
thought
to be
they were
on
on a diet.
I guess they're cheap.
Because they're cheating.
Yeah. Well, I love Pat and Julie because they're a little love interest for this movie, but they're sitting up on a
her
cabin porch,
cabin.
at her cabin, and they're looking, and he's like, "Geez, well, look at that." He's like, "Look at all that
Look
food.
at Tim.
I better get down
I
there.
better get down."
Look at Tim. Yeah, he's like a human s'more. I better get down there. No.
No, stay with me. Yeah.
But then in the morning, you get the best Pat line where he's
Oh.
like, time to wake up, children. Wake up!
He goes, "Good morning."
What is the lesson we learned here? Don't put Twinkies on your pizza.
And Keenan wakes up. He's got a cupcake smashed into his forehead. He's
They're all
sitting there.
covered
Oh,
in
it's
crap.
so good.
And he's basically
Oh my
like,
God,
we got to
dude.
start doing well for ourselves. Like,
Yeah, but
and
did
then-
you think that mosquitoes and ants,
Oh, yeah.
all that sugar on those
Well,
kids?
when they try to
die.
ruin the dance with the girls,
Oh, yeah.
and Tony breaks it
Yeah, we
up,
didn't even talk about that.
and Tony
we
breaks
did,
it up,
yeah.
and he's like, put the food trays away.
That scene is weird.
The insects will be out soon.
Yeah, that scene is really weird because he like it's like he wants to shame them by
Yeah.
having this
Yeah.
The
dance.
girls reject them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the girls come and
Tim saves the dance.
yeah, Tim saves the dance by dancing like an idiot, and then Pat and Julie join in, Julia or whatever,
Yeah.
join in, and then then the kids start to dance, and as soon as it becomes fun, here comes
Your good old
Perkins to
Uncle Tony.
friggin' ruin
Shuts it
everything, and it's like,
down.
what is going on?
One kid got some action on that one
Yeah.
too. He started making
Sam.
out with
Yeah,
a girl.
dude, with
yeah.
the
a
hot girl.
very pretty
Yeah.
girl,
Oh,
like
no,
the pretty girl,
No, the pretty girl was with
the main guy, Jerry.
yeah, with Jerry.
Yeah, with Captain.
Yeah, with Captain.
Well, then you get the scene too that we skipped over where he's like obsessed with riding the go karts,
go-karts.
which I could totally understand. Those go karts look funny,
No, they do.
but
Pat like pushes him
yeah,
around.
dude, that guy's gonna have a heart attack pushing that freaking go
fast,
kart.
fast.
And Julia is just falling more in love with him because he's there being cute with the kid and nobody's watching.
Oh,
at
he's
least what she
father
thinks.
material.
Exactly.
yeah,
And then
He does kind of look like Peter Griffin.
he does.
which so then they have Tony
coup.
locked up and he's in an electrified fence.
They have it hooked up to the bug zapper.
Yes.
And
Brilliant.
The dumb English kid is there
During
watching
Parents'
him
Day because his parents didn't want to fly in from England.
from England, right? So the parents are coming to visit, and they've gotten with the guy that has the video of
Kenny.
the cameraman Kenny, and they've cut this video together of what was really going on at the camp and how they were popping the blob and torturing the children to make them skinny, and Tony uses his food
Well, he
to
uses
create a Hershey's Kiss
because
lookalike.
Peter falls asleep.
Yeah, and it tricks the kid into coming over, and he shorts with the fork, like shorts out the electrified
Bud
fence,
Sapper.
so he can grab a hold of the kid and get himself free. Which
You've done your queen proud.
No, you've been a good guard, Nicholas. Your queen would be proud.
well, then he gets himself out, but he's all beat up and cut up and torn up. And as they're playing this video and the parents are horrified by what they're seeing, you just hear this weird laughing and clapping, and they look up and he's sitting in the window up above
The
them.
cinematography,
Like 10
the
to 15
editing
feet off the
technique.
ground.
It's like,
And then
what is going
That's
on
where you get
here?
he jumps down from the
Yeah.
rafters and he lands and he goes, ouch.
Yeah.
And then he's like, everyone having fun.
Yeah, like he's gonna take the camp back
Fully
over.
unhinged,
And then
yeah.
the dad gets involved. Jerry's dad gets involved and starts like punching him or something.
But before that, he's like, now you see what we've been dealing with. We got to stop him. He's like, who's going to do it? I'm too strong. And he's just smashing glass.
Yeah,
And walking on it,
walking
dude.
over.
Which actually, I saw when he smashed one of those glasses. I think a piece hit an extra because like there's one person who kind of like, oh, ow, like kind of. But then she's like, stay still,
still.
stay still.
Don't
You're in a movie.
react.
You're in a
Don't
movie.
ruin this.
react.
We only have enough sugar glass for this take. This is it. This is the one. Yeah, he's stepping on the glass like self mutilation.
Yeah.
I'm too strong.
Matt just like, wham.
Yeah.
Then he
Watson.
decides he's gonna do like a gymnastics
A triple backflip.
tumbling run out of here.
Yeah.
And starts back handspringing out of the bit, and then just fucking eats shit at the end of it and knocks himself out cold. Like ridiculously bad. It's so funny and bizarre.
Oh man. Yeah.
And that's when you get my favorite scene in the movie.
Go ahead.
With Big Papa.
Big Papa.
Big Papa Perk.
Oh, yeah.
They're like Mr. Perkins or like
Yeah.
this. He's like,
Papa.
please, Papa.
Papa. And so, but you hear him as he's walking out. He's like, yeah, I don't know. My parents never hugged me. You don't see me turning into some kind of weirdo.
And that's his father.
So he's like, but the best, he's addressing the parents. He's like, okay, everybody, let's make nice. Don't call your lawyers. I'll get you your money back. Everybody, we got to close down the camp. Everybody go home. Have a good summer. And he's like, wait, Mr. Perkins. And he's like, Papa.
Papa.
And he's like, we want to stay. He's like, oh, if you kids want to stay here, tough it out, that's fine. I just got to leave an adult in charge, for the liability on the lease. And he's like, who's been here the longest? And they're like, 5 years, 1 year, 8 years. And then Pat's like, 18 years. 18 years. What the hell you been doing with yourself?
Yes. 18 years. What the hell you been
So
doing?
he's like, they're all like, Pat.
Yeah.
And he does it. And the best part is he's like, ooh, okay, I'd love to stay, but I got to think.
I got a thing. And he's gone. Yeah. All right. I'm
And you
out.
got crazy Tony in the back of the limo.
like looking down, like, is he
looking
going to do
all
it?
Weird.
Yeah, dude.
All crazy.
It's not okay.
Yeah.
It's really. I mean, there might be some criminal lawsuits, like some lawsuits coming along. That's not just you don't just
Child abuse. Yeah, you don't just dismiss that.
dismiss that. And let the guy go in his
Yeah.
limo back to his house. Like
Yeah.
I thought that part was like that should have been a police car.
And then
Like,
they do the whole, like, we're going to repaint the camp. And
Well,
then you get the
that's the weirdest thing to me. This movie totally could have ended
there.
right there.
right with Tony
Right.
leaving and them getting but now they go into the whole Apache relay with Camp MVP, which
Yeah.
is just like bizarre.
And if Camp MVP wasn't a bunch of dumbasses, they would have won
No,
this
they're like brain dead.
because they're
Yeah.
just crushing them in the athletic events.
Mm-hmm.
Like this one kid, they have to climb like a rock climbing wall, and he's just
Can't
looking
even
around
get
like,
up the first thing. Yes. And they're like, okay, come on,
let's
guys,
help him,
let's help him.
let's
Let's help him. And like four
That's
of
the
them.
thing is like you could pick the kids that do the events.
Yeah,
Like,
why would you pick him?
Yeah, they're fat. They're not useless.
They do play that out a little too much. For
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of these kids can play hockey.
We know that. We've seen them do it. They won.
seen 'em do it.
They beat the Hawks, for Christ's sake.
Oh my god.
But yeah, but that was with Banksy. But you get to the part where they're trying to shave the balloon, and the kid keeps popping the balloon, and then it cuts to Josh like,
Yeah, because he shaved
He
for like
shaves.
years or
and
whatever.
with a
like
straight
4
edge.
years.
Apparently,
apparently.
he shaves with a single straight edge razor.
I would tell you
But-
that kid's in the mafia. That's
what we didn't talk about is how they pranked the Camp MVPs, pranking them the whole time, and then they go to like get in their boat and throw crap at them, and the motor is gone
Yeah.
from their boat.
like, hey Pete,
They stole
where's
it
the
to fix
engine?
their
So they take
to
the
fix
kid,
their
Cap-
fix their go kart.
yeah, they take Captain, who loves the go-karts, but has never before driven one.
Yeah.
And put him in the go-kart race as their go-kart
Which is the anchor.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
as
no
the anchor.
training, no driving of the go-kart.
Just lean into the turns.
Yeah. Exactly.
keeps
Like
telling
be
him.
fat in the turns.
Use
Go.
your weight. Lean into the
Yes.
turns.
Hit the
Careful.
turns.
That guy drives dirty.
So they have this badass go-kart race, and then at the end he decides to make his go-kart faster
By hitting
the boat
propeller.
motor, and it launches him in a cool scene where he jumps and lands on top of the front of the go-kart, and
Dude, I was
they
looking
win
at
the
that
whole
suspension.
thing.
The suspension on that thing, I was like, that hurt.
But where,
Oh, yeah.
but
You
where,
know
but
that.
He
where
broke
they,
his back.
Where they really lose is when they go into the
athletes,
hall
where they
of
lose.
the hall of knowledge.
Yes.
And he's like, solve the equation. And it's Kenny the cameraman as Einstein, and he's like 35, and he's like no. And he's like 17, no. 5, 9.
9.
The answer's 9. No,
No.
9 is German for no.
And the fat
And then
English kid
little
runs
Nicholas
in.
is like 11.
Yeah.
Wunderbar. You may advance. And then he's naming the.
So I was like, is he gonna run another, like put another, like erase that and put another like formula?
And he's naming the Lars is the art curator. He's like, no.
No. Share?
It's Andy Warhol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then it gets to the camp nurse, Julia, as the Statue of Liberty, and she's like, name 5 American vice presidents.
Dude, I
and he's
was
like,
brilliant
Alexander
by this.
Haig. She's like, George Washington. Cher.
Share?
Which
And then
means,
the British
like,
kid
how
came
did
up.
they ever get out of that?
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah.
Well,
throw a
you just
lifeline.
I guess just
He-
repeat what Nicholas said.
Leave up P. Moulton.
Like, this is totally unfair. You can't just repeat what I said.
Yeah. John Quincy Adams, or like he knew all of them, and I was like, dude, I couldn't do
Walter.
that.
Hell
Like,
no. I can name
do that.
Dan Quayle because of the joke, like when George Bush and Dan Quayle were in office, you couldn't have dogs at the White House because they'd pee on the bushes and scare away all the quails.
classic '90s presidential
Yeah.
joke.
Exactly. That's how I remember the Dan Quayle.
Dick Cheney.
Well, and I know that Agnew was Richard Nixon's
Agnew
was
Jeez.
vice president because Futurama is always making jokes about Nixon and Agnew.
That's right. Oh man, I forgot about Futurama's. Man, Futurama.
Dude, that
is
show is
so
so
funny.
good.
So
and
funny.
then there's like the episode where the dog gets like encased in the like magma. And,
Oh
like,
yeah.
And then he waits all that time, and it's like this is the most depressing
Yeah.
episode I've ever seen.
I love
Makes
that
you
episode.
so sad.
It is so sad. It is so heartbreaking, but also it's one of the funniest jokes
good.
that they keep making. Where they're like, "He's been down there too long in the lava. I'm going to go after him." And like she begins to like rip her shirt off, and the professor stops her because he keeps repeating, "Fire, magma, hot." Because
Nobody's listening to him.
He's like, "Scientist, magma, hot." Just trying to convince them. So they
Yeah.
go through the Hall of Knowledge.
And then-
British kid
Just
puts our
annihilates him.
puts our public
And they
school
win the
system
go
to
kart
shame.
race and they get the cup.
Yeah.
And then the coach is like, "You're gonna be hearing from us. You cheated."
MVP,
blah, blah.
yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, is this what your life's all about?"
This-
Sims, how about you airmail that back to camp for me?
starts
And he just,
bleeding out of his face.
Yeah, and then he spins around like a freak.
Like a shot put in it.
He's like, "You rang."
Yeah,
Just
chucks it in the
chucks
lake.
This thing into the
They
lake.
go after it. I was like, dude, have some dignity, bro. Like, just like be like, all right, that was your.
All right, you
Bye.
cheated, but
Yeah,
you're cool.
I'll just go home.
You can't
Right.
put the British kid in. He's from England.
Why
not?
does he know that much about our American
You
president?
Americans have no sense of history.
No sense of history.
It's not our fault that you guys are living in the past because that's when all the glory was.
Yeah,
all right?
that's like that's on every wall in your house. Like those are
Our vice
constant.
presidents.
Yeah, our vice presidents. Just to be a reminder that you lost.
Yeah.
All right, you lost. Sorry,
Dude, I
Anyways.
love all this stuff for 4th of July
Yes.
since we just passed.
Have
where
fun
it's
at
like,
work tomorrow.
Where it's like, it's like all these different countries. And it says like, when did England give you your Independence Day? It's like America, like some countries in Africa, like all these different, like, oh my god,
It's like
this
every
is too
3
funny,
days.
man.
Every 3 days, a country like has a
Celebrates.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Or
Getting
something,
their
every 3 or
freedom
6
from England.
days, something like that. Yeah. Oh man, so it ends on that note, and it just ends like freeze frame, like yeah,
And they
we
sing
win.
the Camp Hope, play East for Boys.
Oh, and I never and something I never noticed about this movie is there is a stinger scene at the end. Did
Yep.
you see it?
Yep.
I've watched
Did you
this
watch it?
film hundreds of times.
You never
as a
saw
kid.
it? So you watched all the way to the end of the credits. Ben Stiller shows up selling healing aura rocks.
Yes, I have seen that.
Yes. And then she slams the door.
Yeah, slams the door. Have you seen The Theory?
No.
Yeah.
Okay,
Tell me.
so there's The Theory.
Oh, you were talking about this. You were saying this. Yeah.
But he's the
That
research guy.
Tony Perkins and White Goodman
And-
from Dodgeball are the same person.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And in Happy Gilmore, the orderly at where the mother is kept is also the same person. And when he loses his mind at the end of Heavyweights, he goes to try and sell these rocks.
Crystals. Yeah.
Has so much failure that he disappears and becomes this orderly for a while.
Oh, yes.
Then when he gets all his confidence back, he asks his dad for a loan, which is the seed money to start the first Globo gym in California.
Out in California.
And they like the one I was watching said that when he does the backflips and knocks himself out, that he did some more damage to his brain, which is why he is significantly stupider in Dodgeball as White Goodman.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
Daddy make it funny.
Oh, yes. Or like,
That's why he hates fat people so much and
yes,
everything.
that's it. Oh my God, that's amazing. Yeah, that totally fits.
How about you? You want a nice tall glass of shut the hell up?
You could trouble me for a warm glass and shut the hell up.
But it said like, you'll go to sleep.
You
or
go
I'll
to
put
sleep.
you to sleep.
Or I'll put you. You're in my world now, Grandma.
Oh man, so that's Heavyweights, dude. Definitely.
What a great
So good.
flick.
Well,
So
now,
fun.
where would you put your F-bomb?
That's what I'm saying. So if it was originally going to be PG-13, you're allowed one F-bomb in a PG-13 movie. And I personally thought it would have been when the kid gets hit in the head with the baseball with the foul ball.
That would have been a good one. That would have been really good.
Wait, your take is better.
Go ahead.
His take was better than your take.
Okay.
Yours was fuck, and Tyler's was fact.
He keeps that same energy. It's just an F-bomb being dropped.
Yes.
Mine
Just
might have
one.
been, you know how during the dance, Tim keeps walking by and he's like, this sugar-free punch, this bites.
Fucking punch.
No, it would be at the end where he's like, this fucking blows.
Oh man.
Dude, you could do it at the beginning where he's like talking to his dad. It's like, you're fucking fatter than I am.
Now that's not kind, Jerry.
Now
You
that's
gotta respect your father.
go on the ball.
Fuck you,
That's what he
Mom.
goes-
That's what he should have said. He's like, you're fatter than I am. You're gonna respect your father. Fuck you, Mom.
Jeez,
I
yeah.
know, or when they're, that was my favorite though. He's like, I'm not going to a camp with a bunch of fat loads, and he's like, now that's not kind, Jerry.
Yeah. By the way, you are a fat load. That's why we want you to go to this
Nobody
camp.
makes fun of you at camp because you're not the fat kid.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
Everybody's the fat kid.
Nobody.
Yeah, nobody picks on you because you're not
Yeah.
the fat kid.
Or when Josh gets back on the scale, you get the fuck off the scale.
He's like, okay, that's it. Josh, when he gets up there, he goes, hey, all right. He gets up on the wheel, get off the scale. He goes, all right.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That delivery is the best. All right. Well, anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Definitely check out Heavyweights.
Definitely,
It's a
definitely.
classic. It's super
good.
funny, super underrated. Basically, I think from the stuff that I saw and I read, I think one of the reasons that it underperformed was because Disney didn't know how to handle it, because it didn't fit in with Disney movies at the time. It was too
Point.
too grown almost for what they do a lot of the times, and they did not, like, their marketing department didn't promote this movie. They put out a trailer, they had some posters up in the movie theater, and that was it. There was no press junkets, there was no interviews, there was no press tour, none of that. So they didn't really push this movie. But movies like this that are funny, that are well made, they just grow legs of their own and carry you off into the distance, where it's like,
Camp Nowhere.
that's another Money Mud.
Yes,
Money Mud. Money Mud.
Mud.
That's another movie that we will do because I love that.
Oh, it's one of my favorites.
But
Yes, yeah.
thanks so much for listening. Check us out on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all the stuffs. Don't forget Danny DeVito.
Danny
He'll be there
Jones.
too. You'll be able to check him out on YouTube and his giant hand, like Andre the Giant sized hand.
but DeVito size.
Yeah, very funny.
That's a life-size cutout.
But check out our shops, nostalgialandshop.com.
Nostalgia Land Shop on Etsy. Yep.
Bam.
Yep, that's the one. Boom.
And that's nostalgialandpodcast.com.
Yes.
And you can check out our cup with the 90s jazz logo that is awesome. Can't say enough good things about the quality of these cups. Like, they're fantastic. I was really pleased with them when Matt brought them in and let us have them. Check out Sunny D, vodka seltzers. Drink responsibly.
Always delicious.
Delicious. But yeah, thank you guys so much for your participation in comments and letting we put up a couple different things with some polls. When one of them was heavyweights versus Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It was close.
It was
over our different platforms, though. I'd have to say that heavyweights edged it out, and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers will be coming soon.
So you
Hopefully not
Instagram
on your
people that
face.
saw that poll, it did win there, but cross-platform.
Yeah.
Heavyweights
Across
was
all
the
the,
winner.
And all the people texting us and personal friends and family calling and saying to do. And heavyweights has lived within our friend group since the day we saw it. I mean, it comes up from time to time, especially with us being these skinny.
It would be an honor.
sharp-
Tony is one that comes up a lot.
What
would be an
would
honor.
Do it to it, Lars. It would be my honor, Tony.
It would be my
It's the
honor,
ice
Tony.
with we say that a lot.
That and the first Josh line. This pleases me.
This pleases me.
So good. But thank you so much. And until next time,
I'm Matt.
Trey.
and I'm Tyler. Cowbunga.